Hi, today's video is about being triggered and the energetic, emotional, thought form underpinnings of this amazing concept of what it is to be triggered. And My name is Catherine Bird, and I help and mentor, train healing sensitives, all those on the path. So if that's you, or if you feel like maybe you haven't started yet, but you're on your way, you're in the right place. If you just see yourself as an empath and you're like, I need to figure this out, also in the right place. Okay. So let's talk about this concept of emotional contagion. So we can all very much relate to contagion because we have all had the experience of living with a very contagious virus. And I don't know about you, but I've seen these images of what it's like when we're talking and like how much spit is being thrown out of our mouths when we're just talking, or we're sneezing, or we're coughing. There were these diagrams of this going out. If you haven't seen these, just look them up because they will literally scare you to death about ever having another friend. Because you realize, wow, this is gross. Okay, so with that in mind, we are also in the midst of these emotional contagions, these energetic contagions. So I want you to think about, if you've ever seen, maybe you haven't, but there is something called a toroidal field. Toroidal. I don't know how to spell it. Toroidal, I believe. Toroidal field. If you want to look it up and see some great pictures. Basically, it's like a giant donut. And this is how energy is moving. It's how the energy moves through the earth, through the pole. And then there's this toroidal energy field. And that's how it moves through the human body, is that there is this center core through the center of the being, and there is energy going out and back up and in, and it's also spinning and twirling and being magical at the same time. So as this is happening, just want you to kind of have that visual representation in your head of all of this. So if I have a very strong emotion, and I have that strong emotion, and I have a thought. So our thoughts have thought forms. They have basically, you could see them like as an energy cluster is a thought form, a cluster of energy. You could see it, maybe it's like a little ball, and maybe when it's happy, it's a happy thought, and it's pink and fuzzy and cute. And maybe when it's angry, it's spiky and mean, green, angry, thought form. Okay. So when that thought is married to an emotion, and the bigger that the emotion is, the more motion that the thought has. It has more motion out into the world. So it goes out into the world through this field that's around our body. And as it goes out, it's interacting with everybody else's field, everybody else's body, everybody else's energy that can, is in contact with it. And so if you are coming in contact with that energy, with that emotion behind that thought form, it's going out and it's coming back. It's going out, it's coming back. It's actually going out and finding things that it resonates with. That's, I think, why we form the crazy communities that we do, right? And you're like, oh, I just love this person's energy. And, two angry people will completely find each other and get in a total fight with each other, right, on the street. And you're just like, how do those two angry people even find each other? It's amazing. I can walk down the street all day and not find an angry person. So when it's going out into the world, because like attracts like, it's actually looking for resonance. Everything's looking for resonance. So it wants something that's like it. It wants to be in resonance, just like a tuning fork, right? When you have a tuning fork and you're over here with your little tuning fork, and here's the tuning fork that just got hit, ding, and it's an anger tuning, ding, it comes closer, ding, it starts going ding, and now you're both angry, ding. Okay, so now it's not triggering you, right? Causing your tuning fork to go off just because. It's actually resonating with something inside of you. It's resonating with something probably subconscious and deep. It's still in resonance with this energy. It's there. It exists. You know, we all have these energies, right? We all have them. They exist within each and every one of us. There's nothing wrong with that. We all are allowed to have anger and anything else. But when we have a lot of repressed energy, stored energy, sort of emotions that we've kept hidden, emotions that we've locked away, like in experiences of trauma, we haven't been able to express things, we haven't been able to voice things. These energies, emotions get stuck inside the body, inside the tissues and the organs and the field of the body. They're stuck there. And then here comes ping, ding, there it is. All right, there it is. And so then we feel it really sharply, really strongly. And then as a sensitive person, our tendency is to feel it more and more and more, and to be mad at the other person for being a toxic person who is making me feel bad, right? But the shift that we get to make, right? Because we're always looking for, how do we take the higher self shift, right? How do we shift to what would be the higher version of myself's experience of this situation? Well, the higher experience of this situation is, oh, this is a mirror. It's a mirror for me. Okay. So this is a mirror for me to look at this, to look at my anger, frustration, rage, fear, shame, all of these emotions and energies, and to do whatever work needs to be done, which is often movement, breath, sound, to move the emotions and energies out of the body, not necessarily through telling the story about how, well, I'm angry because when I was little, this thing happened to me, or I'm angry because this person did this to me, or I'm angry because, right, I have a justified reason for holding on to this anger. But the anger isn't actually serving you unless it's creating a creative expression out into the world. If it's inspiring you to take action, to get out and make positive impact on the planet, if it's inspiring you to be creative, it's inspiring you to do something amazing and positive, awesome. But if it's just there being held and repressed and held on to, then it will continue to resonate with what's in your environment and create more tension and pain inside your body. And as that happens, as that builds up, then that's where we often get overwhelmed. We're also experiencing this with, the whole world, right? There's a whole collective field. All of this is happening at the same time. So then we can get really overwhelmed. If the world is having an experience, environmental damage, I could list so many things. All of the things in the world that are going on. So the world is having pretty big experiences. There's collective thought forms, collective emotions, collective energies that are out there. And those can really take us out if we're not moving the energy and the emotions regularly, and digging into the stuff that's there from earlier, and not just about telling the story. Sometimes telling the story is important, but at a certain point, it's about letting go of the story, using movement, breath, and sound, moving the energy, and doing the right practices at the right time to clear, open, and be able to have the experience that when someone else is having an experience, when someone else is triggered, they're having an emotion, they're having that you can witness, be present, have empathy, right? Understand them, protect yourself if you need to, right? Like, oh, that person's really angry, I'm gonna move to the other side of the street, right? Whatever you need to do to take care of yourself, change your situation if you need to in life, but that you can understand what's happening around you and not feel like it's overwhelming you. And that's where we want to get. We want to get to that place where we have moved on from the old stuff, from the old repressed stuff, from the shame and the judgment and all of these pieces that are around our emotions and how much we feel and how sensitive we are, that we transform ourselves from my sensitivities are this weakness that take me out and I can never quite get my shit together and I can't really run this business and I can't really thrive in the world, or I can't really take on more clients than this, or I can't really do my sacred work, to being able to have our sacred work be our priority, to have our relationships be healthy, to have our health and vitality as a priority and ourselves as a priority, and to live in a different way. And that's what I mean when I talk about being an empowered empath, using the tools and practices that are going to get you there, going into the shadow work, going into the difficult stuff, moving that energy through, and going through this process so that you can be of true service, not all triggered and freaked out and overwhelmed and, having to spend 3 days in bed and then trying to dig out of it and then freaking out, right? That's what we do because we're sensitive. We're sensitive little buttercups, and it's okay to be a sensitive little buttercup. But you're going to be a much more effective buttercup if you have the right tools. So I hope that this is sparking some interest and curiosity. I would love to hear from you about what you're thinking about this idea of these mirrored thought forms and feelings, and where you see this coming up, and how this might change your perspective of being an empath or a sensitive. And, if you're interested in what's next. All right. I hope you have a blessed day.